Welcome to the program. Thanks for checking us out. My name is Rob Sanders. Of course, if you're following us on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good, hello. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at Carolina Jackpot. A lot of folks watching us there. If you're on Facebook, hello. Subscribe to the Carolina Jackpot channel. All right, there you go on YouTube. To the YouTube folks, hello. There, I said hello to everyone. Off the top rope, before we even started with the damn program, Kirby's Visor is already at it again. He says strippers in Louisiana are organizing to unionize. I mean, how do you? I don't even know. I don't even want to know. I am under the. I am under the. What's the term I want to use? I do believe that stripping is a job. If you pay your taxes, then yeah, you should. Be treated as a worker. But then again, I'm also in the camp that prostitution is a job, and those folks should get paid for that too. So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Anyway, what are we going to talk about today? I kind of wanted to mention a little bit about the Big Ten deal for just a second. Also, new college football rule changes that are in the mix, and whatever the hell you want to talk about today. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. We're we're at the point now where with talking season where talking season is about talked out. What could I possibly be in the mix for with that? Okay. So yeah, I'm in the camp of we'll talk about whatever you want. The number to dial is 803-470-2905. You can call whenever you want to call. I don't care. We'll get into that. But shout out to the folks that are watching on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter. Daddy O says strip them if you got them. Biscuit says Tennessee women need work, of course. I mean, if you're into that, cool. Anyway, happy Friday to you folks. Appreciate you guys joining the program today. Motivated Dedicated says UGA is going 15-0. All right, well, good for you, sir. I thought we'd play a game of what's more likely to happen today. So, and I thought I would start with what's more likely to happen. Georgia repeats as national champion or Texas A&M wins the West. For me, I'm not buying Texas A&M, but it's Texas A&M winning the West is the other side of it. So, what do you think is more likely to happen? Georgia winning the West, or Georgia winning the whole thing, or Texas A&M winning the West? Also, in the what do you think is more likely to happen? And I'm putting this on the bookcase of accountability. The Clemson football team had like what 5 straight seasons, something like that, with 31 or more touchdown passes. Last season, they had 12. Think about that for a second. So wrap your head around that for just a minute. All right. And this season, I'm putting this on the bookcase of accountability because the more and more I look at it, and it's not anything to do with Clemson, but it's who Clemson plays. The first 4 games of the season, the Clemson Tigers will play 4 teams that didn't finish in the top 90 in college football. Didn't finish in the top 90 in pass defense. I think Clemson gets those 12 touchdowns that they were going to have last season by week 4. Yep. By the time they leave Wake Forest, I think they will have 12 touchdown passes, just like they had last season. 803-470-2905, taking calls this afternoon. The Big Ten reached their deal with CBS. And to me, it looks like, I don't know who's making decisions at CBS, but if you're going to give the Big Ten the amount of money that they're giving them, why didn't you just pay the SEC? You know that it's more of a I mean, it's going to draw you numbers. Here's the thing, though. They think they think that the Big Ten has more mass appeal because of the fact that it's basically from coast to coast. What a mess. Carolina Jackpot says an FCS and 3 teams that play no defense. Oh boy, what an accomplishment that would be. Well, if they play South Carolina, they'd be in the mix too. I mean, it's not like South Carolina's a world beater. Pakalak says spreading the dumb on a Friday. I think him and Carolina Jackpot are rubbing taints. That's how stupid they are. When you lose to Georgia Tech, all of that will change. Really, really, really. Do you really sit there and think they're going to lose to Georgia Tech? Okay. Okay with all that. That's not happening either. Anyway, we'll take your calls on that too at 803 978 1832. Papa B says stats indicated 2.7 million fans muted CBS's Gary Danielson last year alone. Biscuit, Rob, true or false? When you commit to South Carolina, you become a cock. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, they're Gamecocks. Yeah. He didn't have to. Jackpot says it's not like Ukulele threw for more than 95 yards. Yeah, he didn't have to. And you lost by 30. Please, sir. Go. You gotta chill out up there in the Big L. Okay? It's just the way that it is. 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. If you would like to join the program today. Kirby's Visor says no more Gary Danielson. Look, I think that the next set of TV rights, here's the interesting thing about the Big Ten. The way theirs is set up, they're going to be on broadcast TV in 3 different time spots: 12, 3:30, and 8 o'clock. So you're going to have the reach that the Big Ten will have with that is pretty impressive. Peg and Megan says Stetson didn't have to either. Stetson Bennett didn't play in that game, sir. God damn it, Peg and Megan. Why do you say such stupid shit like that? He didn't play in that game. 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. Mark Stillman says you can't argue against that 1969 SC ACC mentality. Oh, goodness. By the way, I hope that all of you motherfuckers stand up and you're ear to ear, lined up like a fucking wind tunnel. All of you doubting Clemson this year. Clemson's winning 10 games. They're going to mouth pump South Carolina, by the way. Fucking mouth pump. And I've said that from the start. Jackpot and I'll be doing a show here the Wednesday before that game, and Jackpot's going to be, oh, well, you have to line up and spot the ball. No, you don't. You're not on the fucking same planet as Clemson. All right? But y'all keep running those dick suckers because it's going to be even more and more funny when I'm laughing on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. It's going to happen. Let's go out to the phones and welcome into the program. Good afternoon. Hello.
It's been a while since I've heard anyone do this. If there happens to be any new viewers / listeners out there,
Sure.
this is not an act. Rob really is this dumb. This is really who he is.
I'm that dumb. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead. You were just implying that Stetson Bennett didn't have to throw against Clemson. Yeah, he sat on the bench, so there's that. But anyway, go ahead.
Again, the stupidity is on full display. Anyone in the chat knows I wasn't talking about that game. I'm talking about all year long. He didn't let his talent shine because he didn't have to. When we really needed it, which will be this year, he'll do it.
Yeah. Well, okay. Then what does that say about your coach then that he didn't bring him off? I mean, he's so talented. He sat him on the bench for the first game of the season.
No, there was some developing to do.
Oh, okay. So we had to develop that first game of the season. Okay.
Right.
Sure.
Right. It's that early September development can be tricky, Rob. You know that, or actually, you probably don't. Hey, I want to take issue with one Mr. Jackpot. This whole thing where he makes fun of people who say Carolina's schedule is brutal. I, look, they're going to play the 2021 national champs. They are also going to play the 2022 national champs. Um, I don't understand. You know who that is, Rob, right?
Yeah,
The
Georgia twice.
2022.
Georgia twice, right?
No, that would be A&M.
Jesus
So,
Christ.
this season they're going to play probably the runner-up, which will be Georgia. Probably A&M. Will definitely be champs. Look, it's a brutal schedule. I don't understand what the problem is. People saying that it's got to be one of the toughest in the country. I don't understand him taking issue with that. And he says, "Oh, it always is." Well, it's not to this degree, not to this level.
Maybe,
You're
maybe
facing
Jack. No, no. Maybe I think you're misunderstanding, and I'm not trying to troll here or throw barbs at you like I normally do. I think Jackpot's mentality is he's sick of having to hear about how tough the schedule is. He wants his team to plant their fucking foot and win those games. That's I think that's where Jackpot's coming from. He's tired of hearing, "Oh, well, you don't have the capability to compete with those teams." In his mind, he's like, "You know what? Fuck that. We've got the fan base. We've got what we think is a good coach. We've got a good quarterback. Win some damn games." I think that's more of his mentality over sitting there and dooming and glooming over a schedule that, yeah, it's going to be tough because there are some tough teams that are on your schedule, but he's just tired of hearing people making that excuse and being complacent with going 7-5 and thinking that's a great season. I think that's where Jackpot's coming from, and you may be not quite catching that, but I think that's where he's coming from.
Rob. You've heard the term "you can wish in one hand and crap in the other."
Sure.
That would apply here for Mr. Jackpot. Sorry, that's just look. He chose Carolina as a football team. I mean, he chose to be a Carolina Gamecock football fan. I mean, this is
Yeah.
what it is. It's not going to change. So
Okay. Well, under that logic, then I mean, Georgia should have just given up when Mark Richt was there, right? Y'all are just going to be 8-4 every year. Y'all are just going to be an 8-4 team. Or you
I
could have
did
done
give
what you
up when
did.
Mark Richt was there.
Oh, so I question your ability as a fan then. You're just a
No,
plastic fan then, aren't you? You just told me you gave
okay,
up
here
on
we
your
go.
team.
Here we go. Yeah.
Well, hold
You're
on,
one of
hold on.
these
Do I
if you
need
don't
do I need to roll the tape back? You said I gave up on them when Rick was there. Is that not
I
what you
gave up
said?
when Mark Richt was there. You're one of these people. If you don't support Mark Richt, you're not a real bulldog, and
No,
we all
I'm
know
not.
that. That's
I'm
just
not. I'm
absolute.
not. I'm saying we can go back to other times when Georgia sucked too. All right, tell you what, let's not pick at Georgia. Let's go with Alabama when they had Derek Lassick at running back and they were a shithole. They should have just said, you know what, fuck it, we're going to be a shithole forever. No, they pivoted, went and got a good coach, and started winning national titles again. So
It's
the
exactly what
idea
we
that you
did.
can, yeah, that's what I was trying to say. But in your mind, you think South Carolina can't do that, right?
They can't. I mean,
Get
they
the
have
fuck out
one
of here.
championship, and that was 1969. Rob, something's wrong.
I get that, but the reality is, if you're a Gamecock fan, you want something different. You want to have an opportunity to go out and win those titles because you've tasted certain things. Like when you went down to Athens and you were a 23-point dog, and you shut those inbred cocksuckers up when Israel Mukwamu fucking picked off your quarterback and ran it back for a damn interception. You know what that felt like, that little bit there, and you want more of that. Why would you not want to try to get more of that instead of saying, well, Georgia's going to fuck us every year? Why would you not want that? I don't get it.
How did how did they finish that year? What was their record that year?
I don't give a shit. They wiped their dick on the curtains over there in Georgia. I know that. I absolutely know
Rob,
that.
Rob, anybody who watched that game, we could have been playing Vanderbilt, and they would have beat us that day. We were that.
Mm-hmm.
We were. I mean, we were going to lose that day, no matter who stepped on the field. So,
Okay.
congratulations to
Well,
Carolina for
so
being in the right place at the right time.
so it
Finally,
was it was nothing that South Carolina did, right? It was not, it was not nothing they did, right? Is that what you're going to tell
no,
me?
they did. They did. They showed up and
I
got
mean,
off the
because if
bus.
not, I was
That's
just going
all.
to call
That's
you
all it took.
Jackpot Junior. That's what I was going to call you because I mean that's basically the same thing Jackpot says to me every year.
Yeah, they took the field. That's how they won that game. Because anybody who did was going to win that day. We
All
were
right.
that
Well,
bad.
let me ask you though. On that day, did you know from the
Yeah.
start? Fuck, we are fucked from the beginning. Did you
Uh,
really have a feeling that day of, my God, there's no, I mean, roll out the Pee Wee League team. They're going to beat the shit out of us today.
if I'm honest with you right now, you're going to call me a liar, Rob.
No, I'm asking because if you
I'm
have
not.
that kind of mentality, it's going to be great having you on during the season because I'm just going to start betting how you feel. Because if you can feel that a team is going to lose when they're a 23-point favorite at home and they have national championship type talent, and you can pick that from afar, I'm going to be able to retire by the end of the season just going with your picks.
Well, you've been telling me all summer that I won't get a single pick right. Now you're telling me I can't go wrong.
Well, I'm asking if you have the capability to do that because you just said we knew beforehand. You said you knew beforehand, right?
Well, obviously not all the time, but I did call that
Sure.
game. To be honest with you,
You did call that game. Well, hell.
but
Okay.
I put money on Florida last year to beat Georgia. So
Damn it. With
uh,
that, exactly. Have
Rob, it's Friday. I'm going to go have a drink. 43-18, sir.
a great day. It's it's good to hear from you as Peg and Megan joins the show. You can join the show too. 803-470-2905. 803. Yeah, he did bet on Florida last year. He bet on Florida. And it wasn't even I mean, he was really, and I even asked him. Here, look, we were talking about that game. Listen to the fear in Peg and Megan's voice in this comment. Would you eat a dog
Uh,
biscuit if Georgia won?
I'll eat a box of dog biscuits if that's what it took.
He was that upset thinking that that Florida team might beat Georgia. I might start calling him. He keeps calling with calls like that saying, I gave up on my team when Mark Rick was there. I might start calling him Plastic Megan. Rick says, drink a beer for my son today. He turned 6 and can handle his alcohol better than Rob. SEC dog living in the land of fantasy. You realize Georgia Tech would have beat your Taters if they didn't stop them on the goal line. Yeah, okay. And I mean, we can talk about other things. Did they win or did they not? They didn't win. So there you go with that. All right. Caroline Jackpot says, well, you can't blame them. In the past, they always shat in the sheets. Very good, sir. 803-470-2905. What do you think's more likely to happen? Georgia winning the national title or Texas A&M winning the East, or excuse me, winning the West? And my bookcase of accountability thing for today, Clemson will score 12 passing touchdowns by week 4, by the end of week 4. So there's that. Papa B says the Mullen team that almost beat Bama and then beat Tennessee 38-14 last year. You know what? I'm not talking about Tennessee anymore on the program because their fans are, I mean, they get really, really upset. I mean, they get really, really mad. At least with the Georgia folks, they actually win something. And they can come back to me and say, you know what? Yeah, we won. We kicked everyone in the cunt last season and we won. Tennessee fans, they want you to think that they're relevant, but they're not. But they act like they're Georgia fans. They act like they've done all this great stuff. So it's not really fun to argue with them. There's some that do some good stuff. Eric Twyman's over there in the chat room normally. He knows his stuff. But the people that are caught that have been, doing their thing with, oh, Tennessee this and Tennessee that, just shut up with that nonsense. It's a mess. 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. That's the number to dial if you'd like to join the program today. As we roll along here, we appreciate you guys checking us out. If you want, DJ Ukulele says 1969 was a fluke year for the Game Hens. Look, money is the thing that runs most of college football, right? As far as money and fan base, South Carolina has that. They've got enough people that have a lot of money that say, you know what, we're tired of looking like assholes. How much money do I got to spend to make that happen? And I think they've given Shane Beamer the the money that he needs. Eh, he's going to have to go out there and pull them out of the mud. But I don't think it's an issue of money anymore. I don't think it's an issue of I mean, they're a good business school, which means the academic front is there. They got a big, huge stadium. They've got guys. They've got guys going to the NFL draft. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of good things there. Let's look at Happy's comment. He goes, "How many passing TDs did DJ put up in Clemson's spring game?" First of all, sir, there's two things on that. One, it's a fucking spring game. It's a fucking spring game. No one gives a shit. And two, you shouldn't mock a guy who didn't have to throw for 100 yards to beat your sorry ass team in your building. Thanks for watching the show, though. Motivated Dedicated says the Voltards are hilarious. Yeah. They're I've learned they're a special type of folks. I know. That's why I gave you a good answer there, buddy. Papa B says is crime as bad around South Carolina Stadium as it is around the Houston Cougar Stadium. Look, I joke about South Carolina being a shithole stadium. It is a pretty nice stadium. There is crime that is around the stadium, though. It's not like you're going to go and visit the stadium on unless there's a game there. So it's one of those things. There's been things that have happened right around the stadium. What was it like 3 years ago? There was a young lady that was abducted, picked up there and taken down the street, and then they let her go. She fought her way off. I mean, it's not exactly the safest place on the planet unless there's game day. All right. You don't really go down to that part of town unless game day's there. If the fair's there, you might go down for that. But in the end, it's not the safest of safest places. Gamecock Man, Alan says, I'm still pissed about 2019. Okay. Good for you, sir. SEC Dog says DJ completed. Let me get the phone here. I'm sorry, 803-470-2905. 803-470-2905. That's the number to dial if you'd like to join the program. Whoever it was that was calling me from a 770 number, feel free to call back. Yeah, but it's just, not the best place to be. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Rob, what's up, Advisor? How we doing, man?
Hey, Advisor. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Hey, doing well, man. Just wanted to call, talking season. It's pretty much over, man. And people got to start producing.
Yeah, and it's at the point now where it's like, what else can we fucking talk about? I mean, ugh.
Exactly. And I just want to give a heads up to Tennessee fans. You better get a 10-win season this year, or the momentum will slip, and you will be back in the dumpster.
Yeah. Well, but have they gotten out of the dumpster? Did a 7-win season get them out of the dumpster? I don't think so. I mean,
you're right. That's good. Yeah, you're right about that. They're still not, but they think they are. They think they're at the big boys' table.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's just if
and a lot of these
what they have,
recruits, they're holding out to see what kind of season they'll have. So if they don't have a 10-win season minimum, that's the ceiling for them. They're going to fall off in recruiting. They're going to go right back to the bottom of the barrel. It's do or die time.
To you, if
put up or shut up.
To you, why would you go to Tennessee? If winning is really important,
now, you like mustard.
You like mustard, that's fine. Maybe you think you're a gimmick quarterback. I don't know, but if winning is important to you over the past 10 years, why would you go to Tennessee? It's the same theory. Why even bother?
It's kind of one of the same about Texas A&M. What's going on over there? And I guess you got money in these bags.
At Texas A&M, though, they go 7-5, 8-4. Tennessee hasn't been doing that. They haven't been that great of a football program. They're just a little bit better than Vanderbilt. Just a little bit, not much. Well, they're in the same division, but they're not they're just not that great. And I know that people get tired of me hearing me say that, but it's true. It's absolutely true.
Uh, Truth hurts sometimes, bud.
It does, man. You're right about that. What else you got for the show?
Not much, man. I'm gonna jump in on the pick'em challenge y'all got going on a little bit later,
Yeah, man.
and
You got time. We're gonna start picking games next week, so yeah, it's gonna be great.
sounds good. I'm jumping in tonight. Let's have a good football season, everybody. Go Dogs!
All right, man. Have a great day. Appreciate you. And
Take care,
Visor
brother.
calling the program. All right, man. See you later. Good to
All right,
see
see you.
have Visor calling the program and throwing some shade at Tennessee fans. Aaron says we don't need to win 10 games this year. Our recruiting will be just fine with 8 or 9. That, sir, is correct. I agree with Aaron there on that front. If they win 8 games, that's why when I look at the Tennessee schedule, I think that, in my opinion, the hinge game is the game with Pittsburgh. If they go on the road and beat Pittsburgh, and, I mean, let's just be honest, they don't have the talent to compete right now with Alabama or Georgia. Okay. They just don't. And I can't remember the rest of their schedule. But I can tell you that if they can go on the road and defeat Pittsburgh, who a lot of people seem to like, even though they lost a ton of folks, that is a huge jumping point there for Tennessee. And the idea of getting 7 wins could turn into 9 just because of that game. It really could. The Pitt game is the flex point on the season. Because if you go up there and you lose that game, your season is shit. Even in the eyes of the of all the SEC folks, their mentality is, wait a minute, you lost a game on the road at Pittsburgh? How did that happen? Peg and Megan has paid $10 in a super chat for me to say it's Jimbo's world. We're all just living in it. Jesus Christ. I don't even know where to go with him today. Papa B says, still no brains at quarterback for Tennessee. Should have benched him forever when he ran out of bounds versus Ole Miss at the end of the game instead of throwing a Hail Mary. By the way, speaking of that game, there are some new rules that have come out about faking injuries. And I'll read this to you really quickly here. Let's see here. This is from 247 Sports. Faked or exaggerating injuries are a growing trend in college football, especially on defense, used to combat tempo-driven offenses. The NCAA, however, will not add in-game penalties for players accused of faking injuries, but other post-game penalties could be assessed. Supposed fake injuries were a topic of conversation following Ole Miss's game at Tennessee last season. The topic resurfaced in the Egg Bowl win over Ole Miss's win over Mississippi State. But according to the NCAA, in an attempt to crack down on teams awarded an injury timeout after a player fakes an injury, schools and conferences will be able to report questionable scenarios to the National Coordinator of Officials. The coordinator will provide feedback. Any penalties leveled would be up to the conference, office, or school involved. So let me get this right. The conference has the ability to go in and penalize someone if they think they're faking injury. You think that, I mean, real talk, that any conference is going to penalize a team after the game is over? What does that tell you? That tells you that the NCAA is scared of conflict. They don't want to do what they're supposed to do, where they tell us the lie of, oh, we're protecting the student athlete and the joy of the game. No, you're not. You're basically saying, not my problem. We think it's wrong, but you guys go and figure that out. It's the way that it is. And Papa B is right. It is a slippery slope. Do these referees have the capability to walk up on these guys and say, hey, your leg isn't messed up. Get off the field? Do they really have the capability to do that? You're trying to turn referees into damn doctors. It's not going to work. Now, is it right for people to do this? No, it's not. But those same people will tell you It's not really right for these tempo offenses that gimmicked up because their offensive line is the shits for them to go out there and do what they do. Kind of screwing with the integrity of the game a little bit. I can see that too. You're not lining up man on man. It's like playing zone defense in college in basketball. If you're playing zone defense, it basically means you're a bitch. You don't have the talent and the capability to stand man to man with somebody and just go after them. You have to play a zone where they have to dribble through double teams and everything else. It's the same theory. Gimmick offense is bitch offense. I should put that on a t-shirt. Carolina Jackpot, very good comment. What the hell are they going to do? Make them kick off from the 26 weeks later? No. And you can't determine if they're a fake injury or not. You just can't. Just can't do it. It's a line of shit, and everyone's got to take a bite. All right, 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. If you'd like to join the program this afternoon, appreciate our callers that did call in today. If you'd like to tip the show, there's the PayPal link, Cash App, and Venmo. As we all we all appreciate you guys for watching the show here. Awesome that you guys take some time out of your day to hang out with us. Of course, Jackpot is always putting out great videos. He sends me some of the stuff he finds on Twitter, etc. We'll go over some of that as it comes along. Peg and Megan is correct. The can of worms this opens up. Biscuit's correct. Yeah, it's going to be hard to judge. Yeah. And trust me, there's going to be certain teams that aren't going to get penalized. Do you think SEC officials are going to hammer Alabama if they decide that they think that they're faking injuries? No. Good luck with that. That shit's not happening. Seriously. If you think that's not happening that there's not some special case scenario with certain teams. I mean, let's just give it to you from a financial perspective. Let's say, living in a vacuum, that Alabama and Tennessee are playing on the last game of the season. Alabama comes into that game 11-0. Tennessee comes in, they're 7-4. All right? But Tennessee uses that tempo offense. Alabama's a little short-staffed. And basically, that tempo gets to the point with Alabama where, yeah, they don't have they ended up being tired out from it on the defensive side of the ball. So they supposedly take a little extra time getting up, maybe, fake a few leg cramps, etc. When that happens, then what? Do you think that the SEC office is going to look at Alabama at 11-0 after that game is over and say, "Oh, we're going to penalize you. We're going to penalize you and, maybe hurt you later on and keep you from going to the CFP so we can have a team in the CFP." You think that's going to happen? It's not. Here's what's going to happen. Mustard bottles are going to continue to fly. Tennessee fans are going to continue to be pissed. And Ole Miss fans may be pissed too, because they run sort of some of that stuff as well. But in the end, it's just going to be people are going to be pissed off, and there's not much you could do about it. Should they try to do the correct thing? Yeah, but are they going to? Nope, they're not. They're not. You're gaining a competitive advantage by running up to the offensive line, running up to the line of scrimmage as fast as you can and not giving them an opportunity to substitute guys. So if they fake an injury, they're trying to gain that competitive advantage back. Doesn't make it right. It's two people pissing into the wind against each other. But there you go. By the way, this will be the last weekend of college with the last weekend without college football until what? I mean, Christmas, New Year's, basically. There you go. I think Harvey Updike is dead. Yeah, Monty Lee is now an assistant coach at South Carolina, and Monty Lee is a good guy. I mean, it's good for Kingston to get him, by the way, because Monty Lee knows how to recruit this area, so that's a good thing for South Carolina. Anyway, Show Mimo says, I see no Hotlanta, so they lost. Go Pujols going for 700 homers. The Braves did win 3 of 4 from the stinking, lousy, disgusting, nasty New York Mets. They took 3 of 4. They're right there in the mix. Buttholes are puckering up and flushing. That's happening. All right, tip the show if you want. If not, that's fine too. Callaway's Pick'em Challenge, link is in the description. I'm going to try to have that form ready by Sunday night so you can see it and do your thing. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later on.